All over Ulster, tabbies, slashers and Callymans can still be heard and feeling lane as young and old strike out their own unique time. Along with the shrill tones of the fife, they take us on a musical journey into the past. Its ear-popping volume and its sheer size, as well as its ready-made canvas, make it one of the world's most unique instruments. What makes these dedicated musicians carry on the tradition? What does it mean to be a Lambeg or a Fifer? We get under the skin of this unique drum, and we find out why young and old still have a special bond to the Heartbeat of Ulster, the Lambeg Drum.
I have been reared with Lambegs my whole life. My dad is a member of Drumlee, LOL 107T, just outside Ballymoney, part of Resharkin district. My 4 brothers are part of it as well. And they have Lambegs as their accompaniments. So since the day and hour I have been born, every 12th of July, Lambegs have been central to my life. And the rattle just makes it the 12th. It is such a unique instrument. You hopped off the bus on the 12th of July as a wean and you just heard the dun-dun-dun-dun from miles away. And even in the lead up to the 12th, I can mind living here, down outside Ballymoney, and you could hear it in the distance, everybody getting prepped for the 12th, the tightening of the drums, the rattles, and it just carrying for miles across the field.
It's just something that I grew up with. My father was very much involved with drums. My earliest memory would be basically the 12th morning as a wee boy watching the Newtownards district walking by, and quite a number of the lodges at that time in Newtownards had a pair of Lambeg drums.
I used to play inside them. In Alfie's old house, he used to have them stored there. He would have had a dozen drums in the house, and as a wee boy I used to use them as tunnels up and down the middle and messing about, but I always remembered it just as my dad's drum.
I first played the proper Lambeg drum in Scarva about 2 years back when I came across Billy, one of the Lambeg tutors in Ulster-Scots, and then he got me to play a few rhythms on the Lambeg with him. When you first put on a Lambeg drum, all like the vibrations go through your body, and when you first play it, it sort of rings your ears and you have to hit it really hard to get the proper sound out of it.
When I was first born, I remember my mum or my dad saying to me when they took me down with the old tradition on the 11th night at the arch, that I'd have been a baby in their arms and I would have slept through Lambeg drums. It was as if it was a noise that was always in my ears.
I've drummed all my life. My grandfather taught me to drum whenever I was 5 years of age, and he taught me to drum on the kitchen table. So he did just with a knife and fork. We used to go to his house after church every Sunday, and we would have went to my granny's house and we would have been sitting at the dinner table, and my grandfather would have got the knife and fork and he would have started drumming on the table, and then he would have encouraged myself and my brother to start and learn to drum. I just loved the sound of it, so I did. I always have and always will.
First time I picked up a drum was 14 years ago in 2006 when the drumming club started up. I was drumming in the house and I was drumming on pots and pans with wooden spoons and stuff like that. So
I suppose to those that aren't involved in Orange culture and those that aren't involved in drumming clubs or anything, it just seems like noise. But it's much more than that.
One of the drums that they had up in the Orange Hall was a pretty light drum, and my grandfather got it all refurbished for me till bring to the junior competition, so it wasn't too heavy for me to carry, and that was the first real time that I started to drum.
There's nothing like a stick in to get the blood flowing and bring out the competitive side of the Lambeg drummer. With pride at stake, there's much to gain and much to lose.
Well, drumming competitions have become very, very competitive, and again, guys work in teams or groups or families, and that's their life. They live, sleep and eat these particular instruments.
I work along with my uncle, so do me and my uncle, and at the end of the day, It's my uncle that he is the man, he's the brains behind the whole operation, and he's the man that puts the drums up. He tans the heads himself now too. He carried on from my grandfather.
You arrive out, you're drumming there for 30 seconds in the ring, and the judges go from side to side to listen to each head, and if the drum's level, if both heads sound the same, then if they can hear that, if they sound the same, and they give you a wee tick, then you're out of the ring then. Then do the same again for other drummers.
You need good men to work at the drums, and another thing, you need a good man to level the drum. If you have a good man to level the drum, you're 80% there as well, because there's a lot of people who have good drums on a Saturday at a competition, but the drums aren't level, and it makes an awful difference to the sound of the drum.
If the guy has the drum tightened, it feels good, but if the heads are not particularly tight in a drum, it's not a very pleasant experience. If you're trying to hit a drum and put a bit of a roll into a drum and it's just not giving anything back to you.
For me, it depends on the maker and the timbre that they bring in, and the heads as well. Whoever puts the right rub on them. I like light heads, easy to put up, and you can pull them on the day of the competition, and she's ready. So it's less hassle that way, I think, anyway. But
sometimes different drums drum different ways, and that's to do with the shell and the heads. Sometimes there's drums, the drum nice and musical and tony, and the sound comes all up round you. There's other drums where they don't drum up round you, but the sound goes out. And I personally prefer a drum that the music comes up round you. It's far easier to drum than a drum that the sound goes out. It's a lot harder to drum, so it is.
They are competitive, and you need the drum tight, you need the proper heads, good skins, and most importantly, you need the man with the sticks to bring the best out of the drum. In Market Hill, you can get 70, 80 drums the last Saturday in July. So anybody that walks away with a cup in Market Hill has a hell of a drum.
Last year, we were lucky enough to win the Ulster Drumming Association, the Team of the Year and the Drum of the Year, but I would accredit it mostly to my uncle.
Some drums is no crack off them. Some of them like that. I like a drum with a bit of music in. That whenever you hit her, you can hear like a thunder rolling and rolling. That's what you want.
It takes an awful lot of commitment to go to drumming matches nearly every Saturday night.
it is really competitive, but at the same time, the camaraderie is there, and everybody helps out each other now and again. Even the old hands, they will give you a hand now and again, so which is good.
At the end of the day, if I become very seriously about the drumming, I would quit. I just love to hear a Lambic drum.
It's just two people's opinion that's judging on that day. If it's another two people judging that day, they might like your drum. If it's another two, they mightn't, so go to please yourself.
The thunderous clatter of dozens of drums fills the air on a fine summer night. But only Jan will be singing and be crowned as the winner. For the rest, I'll be back into the garden shade of the garage to fine-tune them once more, ready to fight another day. Lambeg drummers men are just stick-ins and matches. There are them that prefer to nurture the musicality of the drum, and the melodies of the Fife add that wee extra something.
I was about 11 whenever I started to Fife, but it's always sort of been bred in me. My granda fifed and drummed from ever I was no age in the table. We drummed across the table at each other, and he basically just whistled tunes, and then I bought a fife with Christmas money when I was 11, and that's how it all started. Some people say that the Lambeg Drum's like the heartbeat of Ulster, and pretty much that sums me up. And when I was young, I really wanted to drum, and my granda told me I was too wee and to try the fife, and that's how I got into it. A lot of people do say that the drum, I've heard it being described as a wheelie bin going up a stony lane. it just sounds like rumbling noise, but the fife brings a little more rhythm, a little more tune, and just gives it a whole other dimension. Play the Lambeg Drum as well. I wouldn't really say that I learned to play it, really. My granddad put me on his knee when I was little and put my hands on top of his, and that's really how I learned. I think it's so important to get young people really engaged and interested in it coming up through. I really would encourage anybody, no matter what age you are, whether you're 15 or 40. I started when I was 11. Just give it a go. Really, once you start to listen to music and the rhythm and you really start to hear all the different bats and the drums and everything, there's so many rhythms and so many tunes that you can learn to it.
It is good to see the tradition, that it's going to be kept alive. Must never lose sight, this instrument is unique to Northern Ireland. I mean, it really is unique.
There's young people want to get involved, and once the interest's there, it's hard to stop it, and it would be lovely to see that grow and grow, because this is unique to hear. This drum is unique to hear, and it needs to keep going, and the tradition needs to keep going, and the memories and the connections and everything that's involved with it has to continue and thrive.